happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. I pray that you all are well. I pray that you all are safe. I pray that your families are well. I pray that you all have had a fantastic day. I pray that you made the most of your day regardless of what you experienced, regardless of the challenges, regardless of what came your way. I pray that you made the most of your day. I pray that this week brings you overwhelmingly great surprises and opportunities. I pray that you smile more than you cry. I pray that the only tears that you cry are tears of joy because you're overwhelmed by the goodness of God. I pray that you're safe. I pray that regardless of what is going around you, as a child of God, I pray that you feel God's presence every moment of every day. I pray that the joy of the Lord is your strength. I pray that weeping may endure for an hour, but joy cometh in the morning, and that this is your morning. I pray that your work week flows with ease. I pray that every idea that you have, that God gives you clarity on how to execute it in a place and a space of excellence without procrastination, but with a spirit of being propelled forward with having a great impact. So, good evening, everybody. I am Dr. JaNee Mobley. I'm affectionately known as Dr. JaNee, and I help women overcome mindsets that prevent profit, progress, and prosperity so that they'll have the boldness, the confidence, and the courage to position their purpose for profit. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you share this live with about 2 or 3 or 4 people. Welcome to Transformational Mondays. And you may be asking yourself, what is Transformational Mondays? Well, as a believer, the scripture tells us to be ye transformed by the renewing of our mind. And when you look up the Greek definition of mind, of renewal, it means to renovate. So when you think about renovation, what do y'all think about? You think about a house. You think about a house being renovated and gutted out. You think about walls being torn down. You think about floors being picked up. You think about walls being painted. You think about new furniture, right? So I want you to think about your mindset in that same way. The scripture explicitly teaches us to renovate our minds. Your mind is your soul. Your mind are your inner thoughts, and it's so important that we make it a constant habit, a lifestyle. Somebody put lifestyle in the comments. A lifestyle of working on our mind. As a coach and as an individual, I always share that the biggest thing that you will ever build in your life is not your business, is not your client base, is not your following, but the biggest thing that you will ever build is your mindset. So you want to always make sure that you work on your mind, because here's the thing, I shared this, I believe it was the live on Saturday, that your mind is the place where creation begins. Is where you get ideas, is where you get thoughts, is where you get epiphanies, and ideas have the ability of generating revenue. So why not guard, why not protect, why not build the very thing that is the station that allows you to create, to generate revenue in your life? Good evening, good morning, good night, whatever time of day it is for you. Make sure, if you already haven't, that you subscribe to my channel and share this live with about 2 or 3 people. Tonight, I want to talk to you all about how building a personal brand is the foundation of your business brand. And the reason why this is essential is one of the things that people do not understand is that we want to make money in our businesses, of course. And if you all haven't, make sure you tell me where you're tuning in from, what city, what state, what country, and all of those things. Would love to know where everybody is tuning in from. So, it's important that before you build a business brand, you build a personal brand. And here's the thing, you're building a personal brand whether you realize it or not. So, what is a brand? By Dr. JaNee's definition, a personal brand is the perception that your ideal clients, customers, and audience have of you based upon how you present yourself in and out of the marketplace. Thank you so much. I know I'm gorgeous anyway. I don't need you to compliment me. Oh goodness, y'all, people are a trip. Let's see. Mm, there we go. All right, all right. So it's so important. Let's see. Hold on. Did it get? Let's see. Hold on, cause I don't play that. All right, it'll refresh in a minute. It'll refresh. All right. So it's so important that as you build a business, that you build a personal brand and you're doing it whether you realize it or not. Right? So, again, what is a brand? A brand is people's perception, your ideal clients and customers' perception of you in and out of the marketplace. Your brand is more than colors, it's more than logos. While it is inclusive of the physical appearances, the way you dress, the way you present yourself, the outer appearance, it is not limited to, right, your physical appearance. Okay? So your brand is inclusive of how you treat people. Your brand is inclusive of the value that you bring to the marketplace. Your brand is, get this, how you respond when people say certain things to you. And I'll use this myself as an example. So, some years ago, I cut all of my hair off because I ended up getting something that doctors couldn't even diagnose, right? And I just decided to cut all of my hair off, right? And for some people, that would stop them from presenting themselves because some people are self conscious about their hair and their head, and I completely get it. But for me, I understand that my purpose is much bigger, right? So one of the things that I have experienced and continue to experience sometimes on YouTube, because it's the world wide web. Anybody can access it unless I limit it, but I don't care. So sometimes people will come on here and attempt to insult me, but I realize that it's just a distraction. So how I respond to those individuals is a part of my personal brand, right? And here's the thing, you have the ability to build whatever kind of brand that you desire. But it should be based on the people that you desire to serve and have been called to serve, okay? So just giving that example. So let's talk about how building a personal brand is the foundation of building a business brand. So let's talk about what is a foundation. So, a foundation literally is the structure that a building, right? It is the support system that a structure is built upon. I'm going to say that again. So, a foundation is the support system of where a structure sits on. So, one of the things that I have understood and learned about foundations is that in structures, is that the taller that your structure is, the deeper that your foundation needs to be. I'm going to say that again. One thing about foundations and structures, the taller your structure. So if you're talking about building a huge building, if you're talking about building something that's really tall, very large in height, you have to make sure that you have a deep foundation. So, what does that have to do with building a personal and a business brand? Well, if your personal brand is the foundation, it is the support system of the structure that you have, which is your business. You want to make sure that you build a personal brand. If you're talking about going big, you want to build a brand that goes deep. And when I think about building a deep personal brand, it's all also number one about building a personal connection with your ideal clients, audience, and customers. Look on social media, even when you look at big names, when you look at whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a big established business brand that has been around for decades, what are they doing now? Whether they new or old. They're finding influencers who've already built a personal large brand on social media to partner with to do what? Get their brand, their business brand out there in a major way. This is why, as an individual who is on social media, you want to be very, very cautious about how you steward the influence that God has given you. I don't care if you have 10 followers or 10,000 followers. You want to steward it well. Why? Because I always say that social media is the World Wide Web, and anybody can come looking for you. And you have to remember that even building a business, people buy, good evening, people buy from those who they know, who they like, and who they trust. Still, it is still a great saying, but it is still very true. We buy from those that we know, like, and trust. So when you build a personal brand, it establishes the foundation that your business 9 times out of 10 can be or is very credible. Proverbs, what is it? 22:1 says this, that a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. So you building a personal brand establishes your name as an individual. It establishes your reputation. This is why I always say, and again, everybody builds a brand that's different and unique to them and the people that they've been called to serve. But one thing about building, I believe in building a personal brand, it establishes that personal connection and that trust factor. So what that looks like is if you say that you're going to do something, you need to do it, whether it's online or offline. Prime example, I committed to doing a session at our ministry for our teenagers. And I'll be honest, I was like, it was different for me because my audience is usually a mature crowd. And to be honest, I was just like, okay, this is going to be a little bit different, right? Although these are still human beings, it's different. But I committed to it. So guess what? I had to show up whether I wanted to or not. Why? Because my personal brand, my name, again, Proverbs 22:1 says, a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. I want to build a brand where people know that once they hear my name, that I'm a person who's trustworthy. That if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So as you are building a business, you need to establish what type of reputation do you want to build inside of the marketplace and outside of the marketplace. You have to build a brand and here's the thing, if you want people to be able to trust you and build that know, like, trust factor, you got to be consistent. One of the things that I have learned personally, because I used to be that person, and I realized that it's such a big deal and a challenge for people, is that people have issues with being consistent. I heard he goes by King Randall on, I believe, all social media platforms. And he said this because he started a fitness movement in Albany, Georgia. And he said this, he said, now is the time, because they've been doing it now, where they get up at 5 o'clock and jog, like the community jogs together, walks together, and so forth, and do fitness together. I believe it's 3 days a week. And he said that this is the time where discipline is going to kick in because motivation does not last long. And I'm going to say that again. He said, this is the time where discipline kicks in because motivation does not last long. That's one of the reasons why I did not want to call this Motivational Mondays, because I understand that motivation can be temporary for people. We get excited about anything, and then the moment time goes on or something happens or you get distracted, guess what? You get off course. And all of that is inclusive in your personal brand. So, number one, the foundation, as I was saying, the foundation of your business brand is your personal brand. And how is that? You want to establish a personal connection. It allows you to establish again, tongue tied, personal connection with the people that God has called for you to serve. And what can that look like for you? If you're going to post consistently. If you say that you're going to do something even off of social media, do it. Or have the integrity to at least pick up the phone or contact someone and say why you can't do what it is that you said that you committed to doing. Here's the thing, let me ask you a question. When people hear your name, what do you want to be the first thing that they think of as a business, as an individual? Because here's the thing, a lot of people say, and I'm going to say this, and this is not true for everybody, but one of the things that I see a lot of on social media is that people talk a lot about who doesn't support them. Their family members and so forth don't support them in their business. But here's the thing, could it be that you've built a personal brand over the years that's not trustworthy? Could it be that you built a personal brand that is inconsistent in areas of their life? Could it be that you built a brand and a reputation that you're not trustworthy, that you can't be dependable? So remember, these people know you personally. So if they know you as a person and they can't trust you as a person, how are they going to be able to trust you to deliver a solution to their problem? Again, if you're one of those, think about your reputation, right? And people, I hear a whole lot of it. Oh, well, people don't support me and all of this other thing. And here's the thing, that may not be your story, right? Hello? That may not be your story. But if you built a personal reputation of not being trustworthy, of being inconsistent, and not being dependable, it's no wonder that when you go to build a business, to dare to be a solution to somebody's problem, that they don't trust you. Because again, your personal brand is the foundation. It is literally the support system that the structure of your business is built upon. So if you aren't trustworthy as a person, how can somebody even dare trust you to provide a solution to their problem and follow through on a service or a product that you committed to doing and implementing? Right? And I think I have one more point and then I'll be done. Number two, how does your personal brand provide the foundation for your business brand? Well, it provides stability for your business. Remember that a foundation is support. So if you are someone who is reliable, if you are someone that people can really depend on, if you have established a social media reputation of being consistent, where you post, where you share great value, it provides stability. And here's the thing, It takes time because remember, people don't know you. This was one of the first things that I had to understand. You know, you get on social media and you're sharing information, you're sharing content, and you may not be getting the traction that you want, but you got to understand it's still people. The people are still people. They buy from those who they know, like, and trust. So if they're not buying from you yet, if they're not following you yet, maybe they haven't learned to trust you yet. They haven't learned to trust you yet. And a lot of people have some serious trust issues. So think it not strange where it may take people some time to say, you know what, I'm going to buy something from them. But I promise you, if you're consistent in the arena of your ideal clients and audience, I promise you over time, as you're consistent, these people will eventually, once you launch something, they'll purchase from you. What was I going to say? Okay. And lastly, number 3, you're building a personal brand as the foundation of your business positions you for opportunities. It positions you for opportunities. I'm going to give y'all a prime example. I pitch myself to podcasters to be a featured guest on their show, as well as hosts for conferences and so forth, to be a speaker on their stage, right? So let me tell y'all something. People can know the name of my business, but let me tell you what they're more interested in. They're more interested in learning who Dr. JaNee Mobley is. So what do? They search for my social media profiles. I can't tell you how often I've been interviewed by podcasters, and even people have told me, "Oh, I've gone to look at your Facebook, or I've looked at your Instagram, or I looked at your social media profile." Y'all, people pay attention. You can have a great name for your business, but let me tell you something. People still want that personal connection. So as you're building your business, be mindful of the personal brand that you are building. Establish how you want people to see you in the marketplace. No, it's not a guarantee that they're going to see you in that way because you can't control people, but you want to make sure that, and here's my thing, here's how I want people to see me. I want to be a person that be known to share valuable content that is consistent. And when you're consistent, it shows that you're dependable. It shows that you're dependable. I'll never forget, and I'm going to close out with this story. I'll never forget a couple of years ago, I was listening to the Lord, I need to make sure, her name is Patrice Washington. The Redefining Wealth, that's the name of her podcast, the Redefining Wealth podcast. And I remember she said one day someone pitched her. She talked about how people pitched her to be a guest on her show. And she was sharing how, she's very, very cautious, of course, because this is her brand, right? And all of that is inclusive of a personal brand. If I bring someone here on my platform to share them with you all will make that connection. Majority of people will make that connection to that person concerning me. So the person is someone who brings valuable content, someone who's sharing very, very great information that pertains to you and your situation, then the connection is going to be made through me. And it also builds, again, it's a part of my personal brand. And she said something that has always resonated with me. She said when the person pitched her to be a guest on her podcast, one of the first things that she did was what? She went to their social media profiles. And what did she find? She found that the person who was pitching her to be on her podcast, whom she had never met before, was inconsistent on their own social media platform. So I'm going to tell the story. Rewind. This person pitched this podcaster, Patrice Washington of the Redefining Wealth podcast, really great podcast as well. She shares very valuable content. Good information. Well, this person pitched her to be on her podcast. But the first thing that she did, she looked up the person's social media profiles. And the first thing that she noticed was that that person was inconsistent on their social media. So, what was her perception of the person before the person could even be interviewed to even be considered as a guest on her show? How are they, and I believe she said this quote, how can they be a guest on my show when they're inconsistent in building their own brand? That may not have been exactly what she was saying, but that was what I perceived from what she was saying. So ultimately, that person wasn't invited as a guest. We must understand that a lot of the opportunities as entrepreneurs that we obtain start from social media. If people want to learn about you, they're going to, majority of the time, they're going to go to your social media profile and they're going to see or look at you as a person. Are you consistent? Are you dependable? Because all of it matters to the right person. So remember, if you're talking about building a business brand, take the time out to build a personal brand. Establish yourself as a person. Because I promise when you establish yourself as establish a personal brand, people will buy anything from you. It amazes me that people build a personal brand and then they sell merch, right? One of the merchandise that they sell are t-shirts. Okay? So everybody has the same cotton, basically, the same cotton t-shirts, but just something different on there, right? Well, when you build a personal brand, because you've taken the time to build it, regardless of probably what you have on there, depending on the audience, people will buy what it is that you've had, that you actually have created. Why? Because they trust you as a person. So make sure along your journey that you take the time to build and establish a personal brand so that you make the connection with the people that you have been called to serve and build a business build a business that is built upon a strong, stable support. So you all have a phenomenal day and thank you all for joining me. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Good night.